It's a simple formula really. Make so much content that it's near impossible to play it all in the average amount of time you would dedicate to completing a game. Obviously, I don't mean this as a dig because, as myself and the fans of Bethesda know, there are literally memes flying around the internet that mention the fact that, right, okay, this time when I play Skyrim for the 400th time I'm not going to be a sneaky archer. And then we all know as you make your character you're like, damn it, not again. But the amazing thing is that no matter how many times you play the same game or play the same class and style of character, the game is still fun to play. The amazing thing is that because the stories of the games are so playable, and you need to go down the main story to unlock smaller quests that you aim to play, because each time you play you always get lost in the story because, again, it's amazing. You find yourself coming to the end of the main story and you're like, damn it, I forgot to explore the world more. And then you tell yourself that in a few weeks or months of having a break from the game you'll come back to it and definitely play more of the side stories of the game. And then it's rinse and repeat until Bethesda makes and releases even bigger and better games attached to their titles. Like we have the new Skyrim game coming out whenever, and I'm 100% sure we'll get another version of Fallout. I was literally reading an article where they said, quote, "The whole reason we went out and acquired the license, and that we now own Fallout, is that we clearly intended to make more than one. This is not something we're going to do once and then go away and never do it again. When that will be or how long that will be, God only knows. But we acquired it specifically because we wanted to own it and develop it and work on it like we do with the Elder Scrolls." In another interview, Todd Howard said in reference to Skyrim,
"It wasn't a question of whether we were going to do a fifth one. It was more, what did we want it to be? How is it going to be different?"
And I believe that until they think they have reached a natural stopping point in their worlds, where there are no more stories to tell, they will continue to go by this rule, as they know the fans love it. Because again, there is a joke going around on the internet about the fact Bethesda just keeps on renewing Skyrim and reselling it on higher graphics and better, more modern consoles, and fans are like, give us something new. And Todd's like, we will once you stop buying our old games, LOL. But seriously, there was legit an interview where Todd said this to the question of why they keep releasing the game. Quote, "Even now, the amount of people who play Skyrim 7 years later, millions of people every month are playing that game. That's why we keep releasing it. If you want us to stop releasing it, stop buying it." As the interviewer put it, it's hard to argue with that logic. Another reason as to why these games are so replayable is because if you wanted to, you could be a completely different person each time you play it. In an interview, Todd says,
"What is the tone of the game? How does the player feel about the world they're in? We're going to let you create who you want to be, so we don't want to define as much who you are as much as how do you feel about the world that you are exploring." And so for us, when we first start talking about one, is what is the tone of the world? And then everything else comes out of that.
Skyrim starts the way every Elder Scrolls game starts. You're a prisoner, you don't have a background. And it's sort of like an Elder Scrolls tradition. We want the player to fill in those blanks, with their own imagination.
You were trying to cross the border, right? Skyrim was fine until you came along.
Elder Scrolls especially, we give you're a blank slate. And we've wiped your history clean and you're free to make your story as you wish.
Focusing a little more on Fallout 4, the development of the game began right after Fallout 3's release in 2008. Which leads me to more evidence to think that, why would they not start immediately working on the next one in the series, if this was the workflow for Fallout 4? The game features just over 111,000 lines of dialogue, more than all of the dialogue in Fallout 3, and the Elder Scrolls v. Skyrim combined. This is another reason as to why the games are so replayable. The amount of variety in the script can only lead the player to a more personalized playthrough. I know that half of it is probably for the main story of the game. But let's say that if 55,500 words of the script are dedicated to the main story, that leaves the other half of the script, another 55,500 words for smaller background characters, enemies when you attack them, and other smaller side stories. All of these are the ingredients for what makes a better, more replayable game. Now to naturally slide into hopes and dreams of the future of Bethesda games. If Fallout was in development from 2008 to 2015, that means we have until the end of this year for another announcement, which now that I've worked that out, it seems like it's not going to happen. But Todd has mentioned in the past that he likes to make games that last for a long time, aka Skyrim. He doesn't like the fact that some companies have this religious yearly release of games, Call of Duty. He has also mentioned that due to lack of game development tech, there are a lot of projects that have had to be put on the shelf, or ideas for pre-existing franchises that they have had to scratch. Now that we're in an era of technology that's being developed for multiple uses, this could be the time that Bethesda could look into the vault of past ideas. This might possibly be why we haven't heard any big announcements yet, not including Starfield, which is the first new universe in 25 years from Bethesda. In this, what they are calling the next generation role-playing game set amongst the stars, you can create any character you want and explore with unparalleled freedom as you embark on an epic journey to answer humanity's greatest mystery. Already in this introductory sentence to the game, we are seeing Bethesda's past patterns. You can create your own character and you can explore the world however you want to. Though it is not Fallout or Skyrim, and yes, I know there is another Skyrim coming, I have high hopes for this game. For Pete's sake, have you seen the trailers?
The path ahead may be dangerous, but we are not stopping.
Most Dusties don't even make it this far.
Because whatever lies at the end of this road will change humanity forever.
This very well may be the direction that the company is going in. They had an amazing run with oldie world games like Skyrim, and I wouldn't be surprised if this next game in the series is the send-off of the franchise. What we have seen so far of it implies that it is very much going to be the game we expect from Bethesda at this point. The world looks vast, and you can only imagine what kind of trouble you could get into in a world like that. I don't think anyone would blame Bethesda to start looking forward to new games that they can make more of. Look at Mass Effect for an example. I know it's not made by Bethesda, but Starfield kind of has that vibe. And that franchise is going strong with 3 games and a spin-off that, if you ignored the bugs, was good fun. I don't know how, but Bethesda always manages to get more content out of their games than you would expect them to. But this is what you expect, as I have previously mentioned. Todd Howard likes games that can last. This could both mean replayability and as a franchise so that they can make more games out of them. And the fact that they're now looking into space games, only God knows how many games they can make out of that. This Starfield game could cover a certain section of the galaxy, and the next could cover another, very much like the Elder Scrolls series. They have the same type of law, but because of the world they have created, they were able to jump around in it and make stories in different places. As we're talking about it, let's have a deeper look into what Bethesda has released about Starfield. We don't know how the game starts, but what they have released shows how they're sticking to their working formula, but in a different world that they have never touched before. And on paper, it really looks like it could work. You can mine things. There is 100% going to be a perk where if you aim at a creature lower than you, it might not fight you, like in most of their other games. The combat looks like it flows and bears resemblance to Fallout, but with nice added touches that make it its own. There are factions that you can join, and I might be wrong, but this time there is a clear story that, unlike Fallout, but similar to Skyrim, if you choose to stick with a certain faction, it doesn't break the storyline. But this is yet to be seen. They go on to describe that not only are there what looks like massive cities on these planets you can explore, but you can actually have free exploration of any planet in the game, which is said to be around 1,000. If that doesn't sound like shoving loads of content into a game so that you have to come and replay it, I don't know what does. Going back to what I have previously theorized, this game is 100% the child of gaming technology that Bethesda now has access to. This could be due to the time, or due to the fact that they were bought by Microsoft, one of the world's leading companies in tech. Going back to what Starfield has to offer, I definitely think they have taken the best bits of Fallout and Skyrim and mashed it into one, as you can completely customize your base, which you have free reign of choosing the location of, and you can customize your ship. This then comes with something Fallout fans might recognize, but you can hire crewmates to both look after your base, to make sure it's producing things, and you can hire crewmates for your ship. We are yet to see the benefits of the spaceship crew, but there is definitely an advantage to having them. It looks like they have found the good things and filtered out the bad from these past mechanics, as I have just recently replayed Fallout 4 and I can never get into the base building, as it seems too open and complex, and I never assign my people to anything, so I just let them wander about. But Starfield definitely looks like there is a purpose for hiring and assigning people to things. All in all, Bethesda knows what they're doing, and we can talk about the reasons as to why we come back to their games all the time. But at the end of the day, they're just amazing at what they do. Their games are well thought out and they don't rush them. Knowing how to make a team that knows what they are doing, and keeping them happy so they do the best job is a key to that. and it shows that the people at Bethesda love what they do, as it's reflected in their work. Hey guys, it's the post message again. Thanks for coming back. This was one of Cameron's favorite videos to make, as he told me he actually put some research into it. He had a bibliography and everything, he promises. If you like the content like this, make sure to like the video and tell us your favorite parts in the comments. And who knows, we may be doing a video on Starfield in the future.